And welcome back to another daily devotion. I am Pastor Roy here at Woodlawn Christian Church in Lake City, Iowa. This devotion is for Monday, March 18th of 2024. We are in the Gospel of Mark. We've been in Mark for a little bit. We're in chapter 12. Today we're looking at verses 38 to 40. Tomorrow we'll finish chapter 12. We'll move on Wednesday to chapter 13. But this is in Jesus' timeline. We're on Monday. I'm recording this on Sunday. But for Jesus, in it's Holy Week, or it's Passion Week, and it's Tuesday. Sunday of that week, we had the grand entrance, the triumphant entry. Then we had Monday. He did the cleansing of the temple. Made quite a fuss there and got a lot of attention, folks. Maybe not the best attention, but he kind of fired a shot across the bow, as I said before. And then he got to Tuesday, and we've been in Tuesday for a long time. Tuesday is the longest day for Jesus in Passion Week. He's gone through this series of confrontations, these interrogations, if you will, by the various different groups, the Sadducees, the Pharisees, the Herodians, the Scribes. And then on Friday, he kind of flipped the script. He answered all their questions to their dismay. He put them off. They all thought they had him trapped, and he got out of all of them. And then on Friday, he answered them the question about David's son. And he kind of flipped the script, as I said. He befuddled them. They couldn't answer the question. But today, Jesus is going to ratchet it up. He's going to start coming at them. And he's going to start making some of his own accusations, if you will. So let's take a look here. It's Jesus denounced the scribes, is what the Revised Standard Version calls these three verses. We'll deal with the widow's offering tomorrow. So let's jump right in. Verses 38, 39, and 40. Chapter 12 of Mark. I haven't said that already. And in his teaching he said, "Beware of the scribes, who like to go about in long robes, and to have salutations in the marketplaces, and the best seats in the synagogues, and the places of honor at feasts, who devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayers. They will receive the greater condemnation." Okay, he's speaking against those that just want to dress the part. They want the long robes. They're going around in these fancy outfits, or these outfits that set them apart, that they know that these guys are some of the leadership, if you will. And this is one of the reasons I have a problem with any kind of trappings of ministry. I typically wear, t-shirts. I will dress up for suit and tie for Sundays. If I'm going out to Shady Oaks to do a service, I usually will put on a shirt and a tie, at least, if not a suit and a tie. But I don't like to be dressed up, because I don't want to be accused of just being, trying to get some kind of elevated status from it, some kind of recognition because of being a minister. That's not why you're supposed to be in the ministry. It's not supposed to be about a position in society, or a elevated position in society. It used to be all about that, and I don't think it is so much anymore. But that's one reason why I really dislike the title Reverend. Pastor, just call me Pastor. Any rate, beware of those people that wear long robes and want everybody to say, "Hey, look," and be addressed by their title. I'd just prefer you call me Roy, rather than Pastor Roy even. Though some people call me Pastor because they don't know my name. I forgot his name. He's the pastor over at Woodlawn. I can't remember his darn name. Any rate, they want the best seats in the synagogues. They want the benefits, the bennies, if you will, of the position. Guys, grease the cogs. Give me the best seat at the house. Hey, put me in line first at the buffet or the potluck. Second thought, that's important. Always let the pastor go first at the potluck. Come on now. I kid. Who devour widows' houses and for pretense make long prayers. That's a kind of an inference towards giving out loaning money or something on interest which is against the Jewish law, to the widows for their houses, or even convincing them to give more and more money to the synagogue or to the temple, so that they end up having to mortgage perhaps, their properties. Widows had very little income. They didn't have much for protection, and the temple and the Jewish leaders were, if anything, were supposed to be taking care of the widows. And the idea here is that they're not taking care of the widows. In fact, they're taking advantage of the widows, and that is completely wrong. They've really gone against the grain there. And they make long prayers, and that I can remember at a Baptist church in Omaha, one of the guys, when he would do his prayers, we used to have the worship leaders would do the pastoral prayers there at that church, and I was in the rotation. My prayers typically were fairly short. He would start with all the molecules in outer space, and my gosh, it would take 20, 30 minutes, it seemed like, for him to get through every little tiny thing. It was more about hearing the sound of his own voice than it was about the prayer. Because it's the same way with sermon lengths. I recently was in a discussion online where people were talking about, how long are your sermons? And most of the people were saying our sermons were 45 minutes to an hour long. And this site, there was a group of ministers on Facebook. And I'm like, I stated my mentor, Reverend Bob Mulby, can't talk here, forgive me, Bob, Reverend Bob Mulby in Omaha, and Bob has been a minister, ordained minister, since 1949. Bob always told me that the ideal sermon length was 18 minutes. That's the ideal sermon length, and I kind of try to keep that in mind. Sermons are sometimes shorter than that. Sermons are sometimes longer than that. Each individual sermon takes a while, but I don't think I've ever given a sermon that was 40 minutes long, because nobody's going to be listening. At that point, they're going to be shutting down their brain. And the point is that I think that you start getting to the point where you're going much over 30 minutes at least. It's more about you and like you up there wanting to hear the sound of your voice rather than giving the message and talking about the Lord. And that's not what we're supposed to be doing. We're not supposed to be just rattling on, as I rattle on, to hear our own voice. That's not what it's about. It's about giving the message of God, focusing back on Christ. That is the whole thing. And if you are doing these things, if you're doing all of this to draw attention to yourself, as to get to gain something, whether it's financially or as a position in society, that's not good. You're going to bear the greater condemnation for that, and that's not what you want to be doing, folks. So let's do all that we do with humility. Let's do all that we do with sincerity. That's probably the key. Sincerity. Are we really trying to help the other? Or are we, even in doing these things, these various activities we try to jump on board with, and say that we're working towards this, that, or the other thing? Are we really doing it because we want to help somebody, or are we doing it so people say, "Oh, look how wonderful they are," because they really care? It's what is your motivation about it all? And that takes some soul searching and some self-examination. So please do that. All right, that's what I've got for you today. Went longer than I thought. Have a blessed day, and please, please, please be a blessing to someone today. If you like these devotions, like and subscribe. Come on back. Love to see you again. Have a blessed day. God loves you. Bye-bye.